As a former president of the SN, so Judicial and Institutional Services, formerly known in my time as SEAB and then SEAS, it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today to discuss the matter that lies at the heart of our community, the well-being and the protection of our children. As we gather here to discuss the mending of the foster care net, we are reminded of the profound responsibilities we share in nurturing the next generation and ensuring that they grow up in safe, loving, and supportive environments. The care and nurturing of children is traditionally deeply rooted in the history of St. Martin. Long before formal institutions were established, the people of St. Martin embraced communal approach to child rearing. Families extended beyond biological ties. In times when parents faced challenges in providing for their numerous children, it was not uncommon for godparents, aunts, uncles, and other community members to step in. These individuals opened their homes and their hearts, offering love, guidance, and stability to children in need. This practice was not merely a duty, but a voluntary act of compassion and community spirit, a tradition often referred to as "it takes a village." Embedded in our culture, it has been a cornerstone of our society, reflecting our collective commitment to the welfare of our youth. Among the many unsung heroes are individuals like Debbie from ICANN and Miss Sally, who have dedicated their lives to providing safe spaces for children. Their homes have been sanctuaries where children found and continue to find refuge, support, and a sense of belonging. Their work has touched the lives of countless children, offering them opportunities they may not have had otherwise. And while I specifically make mention of these two dedicated women, they are not the only ones. I am sure that each and everyone here can name someone that you know of who has provided a home for a child in need. These initiatives were not just about providing shelter, they were about creating environments where children could heal, learn, and grow. They were about giving children the tools to overcome adversity and build a brighter future.
A future our children deserve. Imagine a world 25 years from now where every young person, regardless of their background, has access to quality education, mental health support, meaningful employment, and safe communities. And when I began to prepare and I said 25 years from now, perhaps you might say, wow, that's long, but it's not long, because I remember in 1991, the 1st of August, when I joined government, I didn't imagine I would be here in 2025. It goes so quick and so fast. So imagining accompanying me on the journey for the next 25 years should not be difficult. We are looking at the world where youth are not just surviving, and I heard the speakers before me said, but thriving. Thriving mentally, thriving physically, socially, and economically. This is the future we envision through the team investing in our future, government's vision for youth well-being. It is a future in which youth are the drivers of innovation, and that's an area that our Honorable Minister of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sport is very focused on. They're the shapers of climate action, participants in policy making, and agents of unity and progress. Now, the vision is not just aspirational. It is achievable Because in 1991, when I looked at where I was and saw what we have achieved, at that time it may have looked like it was not achievable, but it was. So I'm telling you that it is achievable. It requires bold action today, as Mr. Boudicca said. I want to thank you for the invitation to speak on an issue of great significance, our nation's investment in the well-being of its youth. Please join me as I present our integrated youth policy framework, and Joyce spoke about that, highlighting the work we are doing now and the vision we must hold for our youth. I dare say, forward for the 25 years. So let's start to look at it now. Our integrated youth policy framework highlights the development of youth, young people in St. Martin, and offers strategic direction for shaping policies and creating programs for youth age 0 to 24. It presents a clear vision that anticipates future opportunities and challenges that may impact youth development, while also identifying potential barriers that could hinder or delay their positive growth. As we call it, the IYP, it promotes a cohesive and sustainable approach to youth development by addressing the educational, the physical, the emotional, the psychological, and economic needs of young people in a comprehensive manner. As I said, it is integrated, so it is not just simply the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, but it encompasses also the responsibilities of the various other ministries who play a pivotal role and who have played a pivotal role and will continue to play a pivotal role in the implementation process of the youth policy.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new bro?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, comm programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
So my question for you has to do, we are entering hurricane season.
Yeah.
You mentioned last week that you had a meeting with the EOC about the hurricane passes. Is that pass system going to stay the same? And the current recovery program, a lot of money was spent on roof repairs. So those roof repairs were really for homeowners who actually didn't have either a mortgage because they didn't have insurance and obviously didn't have insurance. So in the upcoming season, is there any plan to help address either building of a fund for roof repairs in the event that it's necessary, or helping homeowners with managing their costs for insuring their properties to prevent that government has to step in?
Yes, that is the reason now. That is also one of my agenda points. But as you know, once I discuss a topic, I accomplish. I spoke in the past about the DRF, the Disaster Reserve Fund, and that Disaster Reserve Fund is going to be a base for us to actually give answer to those requests and surprises that we can get as a consequence of a disaster for this country. So, and now it's time for us we are busy already. I have already a committee at place consisting of 3 persons that are now crystallizing the whole process to get to a established DRF for the future for Country St. Martin. As you know, we have always been surprised by disasters and calamities. We never had. With this DRF is my great vision and idea that we should build some reserves to deal with the surprises, as for example, those roof challenges that can present after a calamity or disaster. The hurricane passes, we are still using the protocol and the guidelines of handing out of hurricane passes. The only thing that I'm monitoring is that we follow strictly the rules, that not every Johnny-come-lately is going to get a pass to make a nice tour on the island just for the melee about what is going on the island in a critical situation that the island can be in.
Explain me in my second question is to tell me what is going on exactly at Vromi with the emergency debris project.
Yep.
I understood the minister and the SG was ordered or given an emergency note to go to the Netherlands regarding this. Is it true that there is financing available for the emergency debris project that is not being used?
Yes. Coming back to your first question concerning the ordering of the generators. I have received recently a letter from the supervisory board of GB, from the executive board of GB, in which they are actually giving their priority to continue in their purchasing of generators to stay in the line of Wärtsilä. I can understand that because they have a long-term working relationship with Wärtsilä. Personnel is trained with the Wärtsilä brand, and the only challenge that they realize too that we have to solve together before we are attacked again in the media is that we have to should we bypass a bidding, or or can we make some exceptions for us to take a decision for Wärtsilä to be used as the one supplying the generators? And that is, recently I got the letter last week, so we have to go in the Council of Ministers and discuss it, because on the one side, it's about a lot of money, it's always about transparency, accountability, and we know that we have some laws that says concerning accountability that we have to do a bidding. But on the other side, we realize that Wärtsilä is the one that we know the most of, and it's very logical to continue purchasing and having a working relationship with Wärtsilä. Those things are very important also to guarantee good continuity of energy supply for this country. But you know how it goes here. When we take a decision to go to the right, everybody jumps on us and says it has to be to the left. And when we go to the left, everybody tells us it has to be to the right. But actually, a decision will be taken that will benefit the people of St. Martin. And if we take the decision to continue with, for example, Wärtsilä, I will stand there with my responsibility and I will try to defend why the decision was taken without a personal agenda in that decision.
My question's
and then you had another question. Wärtsilä, right?
The project with Vromi and why the minister...
Yes, there is. The question is there funding available for the project of the dump? The answer is yes, there is still enough funding to do a lot with the dump. It's a matter of exactly the vision plan for an effective, definitive solution for the dump. That is what this Prime Minister and this government wants for St. Martin. I do not want to kick down further the can of the dump. I want to tell the people this is the vision plan of this government concerning the dump that has never been solved for country St. Martin.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social health insurances.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new room?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Hurricanes are massive storm systems that form over the water and move toward land. Threats from hurricanes include high winds, heavy rainfall, storm surge, coastal and inland flooding, rip currents, and tornadoes. In the event of a hurricane, you've got to know where to go. If you're ordered to evacuate, know the local hurricane evacuation routes to take and have a plan for where you can stay. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Rhoda asked me about doing this address, I said yes, and then I had to think of a topic. And truth be told, the topic kind of chose me because I want to speak about something that is on my mind right now, something that should be on the minds of all thinking, sentient beings on our planet, and something that sheds a light on our reparations movement. Of course, I am speaking about the currently ongoing genocide in Gaza and the West Bank. So now, how many deaths do we have today? It's 65,000. We don't really know. We don't really know. A year ago, Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley described it as the world's first televised genocide. And all of us, we see those painful images on our television screens. Children, women, innocent, being slaughtered. And we condemn Israel and the Israeli Defense Force. We see snipers shooting Palestinian children in their heads. But we also see the big powers of this world, the United States, the UK, Germany, various European countries, facilitating it, sending weapons and bombs to Israel. And we look on and we can't understand it. How is this possible? How could that level of barbarity be so transparently inflicted? And no one says this is wrong, stop. No one with real power. And the reality, it then, we say, these are brown people, these Palestinians. And the realization begins to come home to us that in the eyes of these European elites, these brown lives don't really matter. And it's a harsh realization. But then it says to us, well, if for them brown lives don't really matter, how do they feel about black lives? Do black lives really matter in their eyes? And the Western media basically ignores the genocide while simultaneously portraying the Palestinians as terrorists. So, and you hear, for example, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, who has stated in numerous speeches that Israel is fighting, and I'm quoting him, not only its war, but humanity's war against the barbarians. So we hear terms like terrorists, barbarians. Similarly, Israel's president, Isaac Herzog, he claimed that Israel's war on Gaza port is intended to save Western civilization, end of quote. Well, the German president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, she declaimed, and I quote her, "It is an ancient evil which reminds us of the darkest past and shocks all of us to the core." So this characterization of Palestinians as something dark, terrorists, barbarians, and really and truly what is being expressed here is something called the ideology of Orientalism. Orientalism. opposite of the West. It is an essentialist ideology rooted in philosophical idealism and in Hegelian notions that people's destinies are determined by their eternal cultures and religions. And of course, central to this philosophy is the idea that there is a hierarchy of cultures and religions, with, of course, European or Western cultures and religions at the very top of that hierarchy, and black and brown, African and Asian cultures and religions at the bottom. And so what is the root of this ideology? Well, as European powers intervened, invaded, dominated, and enslaved the Caribbean and the Americas, Africa, Asia, and the Middle East between the 16th and 19th centuries, European scholars, philosophers, and assorted European propagandists developed discourses and narratives that portrayed these regions and the peoples who inhabited them as congenitally barbaric and naturally inferior to Europe and Europeans. These discourses and narratives centered around the concept of the so-called West, so-called European civilization, and purported to place the West at the very center of human civilization. To hear them tell it, the West was inherently associated with such values as reason, progress, freedom, and justice. And the rest of the world outside of the West was variously characterized by how far they deemed it to be removed from the West and its supposed values. So the rest of us were designated with such allegedly non-European values as superstition, despotism, and irrationalism. The logic of this opposition goes all the way down to the most fundamental aspects of human identity and can be found in the West's so-called high culture. Its most celebrated novels, poetry, and philosophy. White Europeans are associated with all these positive values, while non-Europeans are associated with these negative values.